of this Chicago podcast. I am your host, Michael Roberts. I am a longtime fan of my next guest. Of course, he originated the role of Gaston in the movie version of Beauty and the Beast. He has been behind the mask as the Phantom in Yeston's incredible version of Phantom, and he is going to be in Chicago next week. In the role of Danvers Carew in the new version of Jekyll and Hyde, which is on its way back to Broadway. Of course, I'm here with Richard White. Welcome to the podcast, Richard.
Thank you very much. What a pleasure. What a great introduction.
Well, thank you. And, well, let's start with Jekyll and Hyde. This is the musical that keeps on coming, of course, right? It was on Broadway not too long ago. Of course, started as a concept album with Colm Wilkinson, then Anthony Warlow, then on Broadway, and then, of course, David Hasselhoff, but we won't go into that. Right. So tell me about this new version and how the role came to you.
Well, it's really exciting, actually. It's been quite thoroughly reconsidered. The design aspects are much more contemporary. The music, while much of it is the same, you can play the same songs, it's been reconsidered. It's got a much more contemporary rock edge to it. It's a little sexier, it's a little more edgy. It's been thoroughly reconsidered, and we're really excited about it, especially as it's embodied by our two main principles of Constantine and Deborah.
Right. And how is the audience reaction to it been, especially with Constantine in it?
I've got to tell you, it's not just Constantine, but the two of them in particular, Constantine Maroulis and Deborah Cox. The audiences scream. They leap to their feet, and it's just thrilling to stand on stage and get saved at every night.
Wow. And let's talk a bit about your role in it. You are Danvers Carew.
Yes. Danvers Carew. I play the father of Emma Carew, who is Dr. Jekyll's intended, and she's part of the love triangle that develops. I am sort of Dr. Jekyll's mentor at the hospital and the head of the Board of Governors, and sort of serve as the moral center of the piece, something for him to contrast with.
Right. Right. Well, you have sure had a penchant for the Gothic musical, my friend. Take us back to Yeston's Phantom, because that's such a show that, I mean, it's been performed all over the country. It kind of gets overshadowed by, of course, Andrew Lloyd Webber's version. But, and I've become friends with Maury over the years, and it's one of the most incredible scores, I think, ever written for the stage.
It's a wonderful score. It marries so beautifully with the story itself.
Yes.
And the history of that piece is fascinating. You know, it actually, as I understand it, they began creating that before Lloyd Webber began working on his. And politics and money being what they are, once he became interested, his piece got most of the attention, and Maury's piece was put on hold, Maury and Arthur. But once it did finally see the light of day, it's become enormously popular with audiences. And as you say, it's been performed not just all over the country, but all over the world. I'm just astonished at the success it's had worldwide.
Absolutely.
Kind of like Jekyll and Hyde in that regard. I mean, Jekyll and Hyde, it did play for 4.5 years on Broadway, but it has played all over the world since then. The enormous numbers of fans that call themselves Jekylls, and it's very exciting to see them come out to see us too.
It is, and you know what? That's actually what's amazing about Jekyll and Hyde too, Richard, is that just the amount of work, and it's been reconceived so many times, I guess. But it's still that core material of good versus evil.
There's so much juice in it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the basic material has so much juice, and the songs are so powerful.
Right.
That every time you get a new talent involved, it it sort of wants to meld itself to their abilities, and it takes on a whole new life.
Exactly.
It's thrilling to watch.
Sure, and my God, I mean, for the lead character, and even you as the Phantom, you have to express so much, I don't know, pathos and love, you know, and make a character likable that can be so hateable. And I think
that's one of the things that people particularly admire about that Yeston Kopit Phantom, is that he has sort of filled in a lot of the blanks to the character of the Phantom, and given him a backstory so that the audience gets to know him and understand him and see him as a more thoroughly developed character. He's not just the scary Phantom, but he's sort of a wounded creature as well, and there's a lot of sympathy that way. And the same is true of Jekyll and Hyde. We get to see Hyde, but we get to see, you know, Jekyll as well. We get to see the well-meaning doctor behind the failed experiment. So it makes it much more sympathetic to the audience.
Absolutely. So let's talk about you for a little bit. You've always walked that fine line between opera and musical. So let's go a little bit into your education, your musical education. Where did you study, and what made you go into it?
I did my undergraduate work at the Oberlin Conservatory and some graduate work at Indiana University. But you know, to a large extent, you know, when you become a performer, you're a lifelong student. You know, that never stops. It's interesting that you would talk about my operatic background. I really, as a professional, have worked much more in music theater and operetta than I ever did in opera.
Right.
Beverly Hills was good enough to give me a little home at the New City Opera for a while, but most of the work that I did there were either musicals that she was presenting or operettas.
Right.
I was fortunate to come along at a time when, you know, classical music theater was, you know, enjoying a rich life on Broadway, and the operettas and the old classic, you know, all of the R&H pieces like that were still very, very vibrant at that time.
Yeah, and you know what's happening too, Richard, is a lot of the classic musicals are finding their way into opera houses. Like here, the Lyric Opera is doing Oklahoma. They did
exactly.
Sweeney Todd.
Exactly. Well, a lot of them are finding that those are ways to help finance some of their more esoteric.
That's true. That is very true. But how do you keep a career going? I mean, musical theater has changed so much, and you've had such an amazing career. How have you seen, I guess, the art form change in the decades that you've been doing it? And by decades, I mean 5 years.
It's not to step back and observe it, but to remain a part of it, and you begin changing with it. You know, everybody brings their own particular talents and skills to the table, and you know, to some extent, those don't change. But you try and develop, and you try and stay on top of things. You try to master the new techniques and skills as they come along. You know, and stay as long as you can. People change too. I mean, over the course of a career, you know, hopefully you survive many years and many different kinds of roles. I'm always very pleased when I get to play a different role in a show that I had played before. In South Pacific, I did Lieutenant Cable for a while, and then eventually graduated to Beck.
Right.
You know, it's wonderful when you get a chance to do that.
And you know what, Richard, and I was just going to bring that up, that's another one of those shows that's crossing over. I mean, especially in this new version of South Pacific that was at Lincoln Center. Emil was played a couple times by, you know, opera stars. So it's just...
Oh, yeah, well, and that's not the only one, of course.
Right.
It's been done that way. A lot of the R&H have been done that way.
Sure.
You know, there are a lot of different things that I say. There's nothing that goes to classical singing or those kinds of things that opera houses crave and that they're giving new life to.
Absolutely. So I want to take you back to 1985. How much do you remember about your little Marriott version of Carousel and you winning the Joseph Jefferson Award back then?
Oh my gosh, that was one. Yes, I do remember that. That was great fun. We had a wonderful time doing that. Did you see that?
I did not see that. I was not in Chicago. I was in New York at that point. But when I told my friends at the Marriott I was interviewing you, they're all like, well, my God, tell them back in 1985 he was on our stage. And he won.
I sure was. Yes, I have wonderful memories of that production. Variation, I believe. We had a wonderful time.
Right.
Was it Variation?
Yeah. Right? Yes, absolutely. And a theater in the round.
Yes, it sure was.
So yeah.
That was great.
They're thriving. They are thriving. So what are some of the roles that you still long to play?
You know, I get asked that pretty regularly, and there aren't a whole lot that I'm not pursuing. You know, I tend to dwell on the ones that I'm getting to do rather than the ones that I hope to do at some point. You know, I've stayed very busy, and I've been lucky in that regard. There are a couple, though. I'd love to do Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Oh, I love it.
That's one I've never had the chance to do just yet.
I love it.
So that's on my radar.
Fantastic. And I'm doing a whole series, actually, Richard, on mentors. And who are some of your mentors, not only in the theater field, but who shaped you as an artist and as a human being?
Oh, I would have to go back to some of my teachers. Richard Miller at Oberlin and Walter Castle at Indiana in particular were both wonderful teachers, but they were also wonderful men. As you say, I would think of them not just as my teacher, but as my mentor, someone who helped to show you how to live in this, not just in this profession, but in this world.
Right. Well, yeah, and we all need mentors in our life, especially in this profession, just to keep us focused and guided and not lose sight of what's really important.
Absolutely. It's easy to flounder around if you don't have that kind of a grounding.
Exactly. So, what do you want the audience to get out of Jekyll and Hyde when they get out of their seats and are applauding?
Mostly, I want them to come and have a wonderful time and get lost in this piece. It's I think, an extremely accessible piece. It is contemporary, and it does have a rock edge, so it's very accessible to a young, audience. But it's also a wonderful classic story that I'm finding a lot of the subscribers are loving as well. So I want them to come and get lost in the story and get lost in the music and revel in these voices and this wonderful story.
Absolutely. And how has that Disney fan base been for you for Beauty and the Beast after, my God, what was that, 1991? Or 94?
I think that's probably about the time, 91 or 92, that we were just talking, we were in LA during the Academy Awards, and I was very fortunate to get to go to the Academy Awards and perform. Now, if you remember, it was 1991 or 92. I think it might have been 91.
Yeah, I think so.
But, that's still a very active fan base. That show keeps coming back. That movie keeps coming back. As you know, it was recently transformed into a 3D version. It was just beautiful. I got the chance to see it. It's wonderful.
And do you keep getting a check?
Every now and again.
That's what's important, Richard.
It keeps on giving.
That's right. It's one of those. That's why we love Disney.
Absolutely. Well, you know, when we first set out to do that, we were very excited because, you know, Disney has always taken such pride in their animated features, and they were getting reinvigorated by Howard Ashman and Alan Menken, and so we knew that we were going to be part of something pretty special, and Disney did indeed apply all its great resources to creating a classic. That's kind of hard to set out to do.
Right.
You know, to call classics, you know, create a classic. But we sort of have a feeling that that's what they were doing. And we came away from it feeling very proud of what we've done and finding the show that it really has the best of the test. We're very proud and excited by it.
And you know what, Richard, actually Beauty and the Beast really reinvented and reinvigorated the whole movie musical Disney market, because after that came Lion King.
Little Mermaid, those were the first two.
Yeah, absolutely.
They really sort of redefined it. They found themselves, in fact, they set out. Howard actually verbalized the idea that he was setting out to create a movie version of a Broadway musical.
Yep.
And put it into animation. So that was what we were setting out to do.
Well, he accomplished. Rest is he accomplished.
Yes.
Well, you are so amazing. I'm so glad I got a chance to talk to you. Like I said, I've been such a huge fan of yours, and it's actors like you that is why I started doing these talk shows and podcasts and website, because you make musical theater sing.
Well, I'm very flattered. Thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that. I hope that everybody will come out to Chicago and see us.
Oh, they are. From what I understand, tickets are getting very hard to get, my friend.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And bring your snow boots.
Oh, dear. Okay.
Thank you, Richard.
We had a wonderful tour and a very fortunate tour, and we haven't had too much snow to deal with. So
well, guess what? Things change. Thank you, Richard White.
Thank you so very much. What a pleasure.